From MTN Sports, this is Bobcat Insider, sponsored by First Interstate Bank.
For the first time ever, Bobcat fans can say Montana State has won 13 football games in a single year. They're 13-0 heading into the quarterfinals of the Big Sky playoffs. Hello, everybody. I'm Keaton Glogly alongside Grace Lawrence. Of course, we'll talk with head coach Brent Vigen here in just a minute. And Taco Dowler will join us. He was, of course, the recipient of multiple touchdown passes from Tommy Mellott, who, Grace, had a career day in front of what was an awesome atmosphere.
I mean, 17,000 plus on a cold December weekend. They absolutely showed out. Forcing those back-to-back false starts, absolutely incredible to see also to the very end of the game, when those twos are in on defense, still being that 12th man, and an incredible crowd compared to the rest of the FCS games last weekend. Yeah,
really, 7,000 more here at Montana State than we saw out in Fargo and Brookings. So Cats fans showed up, and we expect to see them on Friday night as well for the Idaho game, but it's going to be a tough test, and we'll see if Tommy Mellott can continue to do playoff Tommy Mellott things.
Yeah, and it was so great how many different guys he was hitting with 300 yards in the air. Also with Rohan Jones out, one of the biggest offensive weapons. He's questionable this week. Julius Davis is ruled out, but whether Rohan is able to go or not, to see Hunter Province step up right away with that first touchdown was great to see.
It was the first of his career, and of course the Bozeman Hawk in his 50th career game. Ryan Lonergan had a monster game as well with 90 receiving yards. We're going to talk about all of that and more with head coach Brent Vigen after this.
Take coverage of the Cats with you. Download our app for your favorite mobile device today. Welcome back to Bobcat Insider, sponsored by First Interstate Bank.
Back on the Bobcat Insider, Keaton Glogly alongside head coach Brent Vigen. All right, Coach, congrats on another win. How's the week been going, battling through some snow and getting ready to go?
It's going well with the Friday game. It accelerates, but excited that we're at home playing at Friday. Playing an opponent we've already played, so that eliminates some of the work on the front end. And guys showed back up, ready to go, excited about the new opportunity.
No doubt. Always fun when the playoffs get to continue. All right, let's talk about this UT Martin game a little bit. Obviously, Tommy Mellott was the story. 300 passing yards, 3 incompletions. What impressed you most about his performance?
It was probably just a variety of throws he had to make. So there's decisions that go into that, and he was spot on. And then, a couple of those throws were as good a throws as he's made. I think the touchdown to Taco is well placed a ball as he's had to make the touch. But then there's the other throws that he's thrown on the run. He's the touchdown to Ty. Ty was wide open, but Tommy was pressured. He had to evade the pressure. So just one of those games where he did everything he needed to, and we're very thankful for that.
Yeah, it kind of leads you into something else too. We've talked a lot about balanced complementary football, but usually that's run pass. We saw some of the balance in who he was delivering the football to. 6 guys had multiple receptions, 3 different guys caught the 4 touchdowns. It's got to be cool to see him spreading it around.
Yeah, I thought we went in with a really good game plan to try to stretch the field horizontally, and that involved tight ends, receivers, running backs, and Tommy, that's part of the read game, and he got the ball out in the perimeter, and then the play action part of it does involve almost everybody. So, getting everybody involved, getting a variety of pass types is got to be a part of our plan if we're going to really attack a defense. I thought we did a phenomenal job of that.
Well, and it was also a variety of tight ends that were attacking the defense today in this game as well. Ryan Lonergan had 90 rushing yards, first career touchdown for Hunter Province. Rylan Schlepp had the big block on the Ty McCullough rush. Had to be fun watching all of those guys step in the place of Rohan.
Yeah, and that's been a lot about that group. Obviously playing without Rohan, we'd prefer to play with him, and hopefully we have him back. But for those other guys to continue to build upon their role, Ryan to have the 90 yards, but then block like he's continued to, Hunter to get the touchdown, and Rylan to continue to play a real important role. That group is pivotal in our offense, and they proved again once on Saturday.
All the perimeter blocking seemed to stand out in this game. Ryan King is not a name that we've talked about a ton, but it seemed like he was in on a lot of that stuff on the perimeter as well.
Yeah, we got an unselfish group of wide receivers. So they understand that they are going to get opportunities in the pass game, but their opportunities to spring runs, to block for our running game is really a huge priority for that room. So appreciate the efforts that Coach Udy puts in to get their mindset right. And those guys, unselfish nature. They're about winning games first and foremost, and that they're a huge contributing factor to that.
The final note on Tommy here too. Mellott just seems like he's showing a little more emotion, a little more energy. Are you seeing him kind of bring a little more of that out right now?
Yeah, I suppose. I think he realizes, like the rest of our seniors, this is the final run. Let's do everything we can. Let's enjoy, what we're a part of. Let's enjoy one another as long as this thing can go. And there's something to be said for that. Our guys really, truly appreciate this opportunity that we're in the midst of. They appreciate one another, and they want to work as hard as they can to extend it as long as they can.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons this stands out as such a great opportunity with the crowd, there was some talk about some of the other playoffs teams not getting quite their normal crowd. We had it, 17,000, but what really stood out was at the end of the game, kind of that late goal line stand attempt. It's like 4 minutes left. It's pretty well decided. That crowd was still incredibly loud. That's special.
Yeah, they were there for the long haul, and that's many of our second-teamers that are in there. We basically played everybody that was on the playoff roster. You can dress 64. So that group really battled. I had defensively. They ultimately did score. We had a couple bad plays that sequence, but yes, the crowd was in it. And I do feel like the playoff crowd is a different crowd. It's a crowd that's completely invested. We need that and then some come Friday night.
All right, well, it is Friday night. It's a 7 o'clock matchup, going to be fun. Looking at this Idaho team, obviously a rematch, but they're looking a little bit different here. Tell me about Jack Lane, their quarterback, who is back. He's been banged up all year, but seems like he's getting in his rhythm.
Yeah, we didn't see him the first time. That was the primary injury that was part of their traveling party that first time up to Bozeman. You know what? I think he's really settled in now that he's been back. I thought he played really well the other night against Lehigh. They have really good receivers, Dwyer and Hamper in particular, and he's got a touch about him, an anticipation that he puts the ball out there, and those guys made some plays, and they got enough of a running game, obviously, to go along with it. So, I think they're an improving team, and I think we are as well, and that's where you need to be one of these 8 teams.
Now, you guys did rush for 360 yards against them that first time, and that was one of the big storylines going in. What can you pull from that? I mean, why were you guys successful on the ground in that first meeting?
Well, I think first and foremost we played well up front. I think we created holes. It wasn't that we were, it was all these long runs. There were some long runs that night, but it was a lot of, 6 to 10s that night. I thought our running backs really saw it well. And when you get a lead, you're going to be able to lean in the run game a little bit more. The defense played really well and got the ball back to the offense. So there was a lot of factors that night. Obviously, we're going to need to establish a run game. Whether we hit that mark or not, I'm not sure, but got to be able to move it. We got to be able to score, and then conversely, we got to be able to stop them like we did the first time.
Now, Idaho's coming in on a 6-game winning streak. They're averaging well over 30 points a game during this winning streak since they were here in that loss. Where have you seen them evolve? Where are they different? I mean, what kind of different schemes or anything are they going to present this week?
I don't know if it's anything crazy different. You get to this point because you are who you are. And being in our league and playing them, back-to-back years now. They're gonna come in each game and have a few tweaks, offense and defense. They've made plays in the special teams through this stretch. They're a good team. We're a good team. We do what we do. They do what they do. So it comes down to the line of scrimmage certainly, but it does come down to the plays out in the perimeter. We can't allow for the big pass play like they certainly got last weekend. We've got to make some of those plays, and then in the run game, we've got to be able to stem the tide when they're trying to run at us, and we got to be able to create it. So, they're a well-coached team, and I like to think we are as well. But it's more about these players going out and playing, and we're anxious to see how our guys do on Friday night.
No doubt. Friday night under the lights. Any doubt that Bobcat fans are going to show up and show out on a Friday night?
I think those tickets are going fast. I think there's a few left, but we need a big crowd. We need to have the home field advantage, and so much of that is just our crowd.
No doubt. Coach, hopefully we'll get a chance to do this again next week after an Idaho game.
Absolutely.
All right, we're taking a break. When we come back, Grace Lawrence rejoins us, and then Taco Dowler joins us on the Bobcat Insider.
Welcome back to Bobcat Insider, sponsored by First Interstate Bank.
The Bobcats are going for their first ever 14-game winning streak when they welcome in the Idaho Vandals in the quarterfinals of the FCS playoffs at Bobcat Stadium on Friday night at 7 o'clock. Taco Dowler will join us in just a second. I'm Keaton Glogly with Grace Lawrence. And Grace, it's a rematch against the 8th-seeded Vandals.
It's another Big Sky After Dark showdown. I know the conference absolutely loves that. Against Idaho, the fan base absolutely showed out the first time at Bobcat Stadium. I know Coach Eck challenged them, so we'll see if he challenges them again. But my key is the Montana State defense. Obviously a very bittersweet game with Danny Louis-Lakepa going down with that knee injury, but seeing how everybody stepped up in that game. McCade steps up, Rylan Brody. Drew Polidor came back that game, had that huge TFL, so that's going to be key.
Right, that was the game right after Taco Dowler had gone down for the year. And one of the big storylines going into that game was the Idaho rush defense against the Bobcat rush offense, and the Bobcats racked up over 350 yards on the ground. Now, Grace, you mentioned the Bobcat defense. It's going to be a different test this time. Jack Lane, their starting quarterback, is back after an injury in week 1. He's played the last couple of games. They're a new-look offense now.
They are, and McKade O'Reilly mentioned, in the press conference on Monday, it's absolutely hard to beat a team twice, especially now with a new quarterback. So we'll learn more about Idaho, the rematch, all of that, talking with Taco Dowler after this.
Welcome back to Bobcat Insider, sponsored by First Interstate Bank.
Welcome back into the Bobcat Insider. Grace Lawrence here with Taco Dowler. Thanks for joining me today.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you guys went 1-0 another week, opening up postseason play with a big win over UT Martin in the second round. Just what was clicking that day?
I think everything was clicking. Our offense was playing off of our defense, and our special teams were playing off of both. So I think it was just clicking. The crowd was electric, and it was just fun.
Yeah, you had 2 touchdowns. I was luckily in the perfect spot of the end zone to see the first one. But, what was the connection like with Tommy that day?
It was just clicking. Some days it's like that. And what people don't realize is on that first touchdown I had, Ryan King, he got me open. That just tends to be the case as other receivers are doing their job to get me and Ty open. And people don't realize that, but that's just as important as me catching the ball. So it was just clicking.
Definitely. Tommy was also clicking 300 yards through the air. Just take me through his performance that day and continuing to elevate his game in this final run.
Yeah, he's an amazing person and an amazing football player. He gets better at something every day, and just when you think he can't get any better, he proves you wrong and he gets better. I saw a tweet that was like people think he can't throw the ball, but he doesn't have to sometimes. So he's a great thrower. He's a great runner. He's great at what he does. So he's just always getting better too. It's really impressive.
Yeah, he seemed to be getting pretty hyped up too on the sidelines. Just has his emotion even kind of gone to another level in this final run?
Yeah, it has. I didn't think he was gonna. I saw a different side of Tommy on Saturday, and I loved it. I thought it was awesome. It brings juice to everyone. It was sweet.
Yeah, go into that a little bit more, I guess. Just what was he kind of like in the huddle, saying anything in particular? Just what was making him so hyped up that day?
I don't know. I think just realizing it could be his last. Obviously, every game could be your last as a senior, but it really is 1-0 or else you're done. I think he just brought that to an extreme, and he didn't say anything necessarily specific, but just his energy is contagious, and he did a really good job of bringing energy.
Yeah, sticking with the theme of the seniors, talking about Ty McCullough, not a Montana senior, but somebody who came in last year and seems to have just adapted to the MSU culture. What is he like as a leader in that wide receiver room, especially this final season for him?
He's a great leader. We joke and we call him Uncle. He's he's old. He's not gonna like that, but he's just a great leader. He just does things the right way, and he just understands how to be a leader. He's probably had great leaders in his rooms, and he bought into our culture really quick and came in and worked his butt off. And he's just a great guy. All of our seniors are great guys, and it's easy to follow people like that.
Yeah, I've talked with you before about honing in the 1-0 mindset and how that gets a little bit harder with the higher stakes of the postseason, of the end of the regular season. How do you guys continue to hone that in every week? I
think it's just living in the moment. I mentioned every decision is 1-0. It's every day. It's every decision is 1-0. You don't just want to go 1-0 on Saturdays, but you win the games in the preparation. You don't win the games on the game day. Certainly, executing helps, but you execute because of practice, and you have to practice well. And going 1-0 every single day is our mindset, so we have to.
Yeah, and you guys will try and go 1-0 another week against a team you've already gone 1-0 against. I'm even saying 1-0 too much. I think I've started to adapt that culture too. But, rematching Idaho last season, coming into this season, you talked about Idaho being a turning point last year, that tough loss in the Kibbe Dome. Is there an argument that the Idaho was a turning point of this season as well, the win you guys were able to stamp against them, a top 10 matchup, national television? What did that win kind of do for the team back in October?
I think it gave us a lot of confidence. Up until that point, we knew who we were, but I don't think the nation really did. It just solidified what we already knew about ourselves, and They have had a bad taste in their mouth since the last time we beat them, and we had that for a whole year going into that last game. So they're going to come into Bobcat Stadium with that taste, and we just need to remember that they're a great team. They're a top 8 team in the nation, so we have to play good.
Yeah, what is it like game planning for a team that you've already played this season in conference play?
It's different. It's hard to not overlook that we did beat them, and we had missed plays. They had missed just more plays. We just executed where they screwed up a couple times, and they're a really good football team and really well coached. So, I mean, it's tough. The coaches do a really good job of game planning, so we don't have to worry too much about the game plan. We just got to execute.
Definitely. Talking about it being a Friday night game, the sole standalone game, just what's kind of the preparation week like as it's shortened, all of that?
Yeah, it's a little bit shorter. We had meetings on Sunday, and practice time, the duration of the practice is a little bit different of each day, and a little bit more walkthroughs than typical, but I mean, it's pretty smooth.
Yeah, Idaho prides themselves on that defensive front and their defense. What worked so well that first time you guys played them to just exploit it?
I just think that we were executing. When we do what our job is, I don't think anyone can stop it. We have the most dynamic player in the nation, Tommy. We have a really good run attack, obviously, and when we need to throw the ball, we can throw the ball well. And having Rowe as a tight end and Lonnie stepping up last week, and it's just, I don't know how you would game plan against our offense. We have so many weapons, and you just have to execute.
Yeah, that's what Adam Jones says. If they load the box, we go over the top. We have so many weapons. What's that confidence like between your room, the running back room, the quarterback room? Just what's it like when it's all clicking?
It's awesome. I mean, we all kind of have that sneaky confidence to us. The running back, everyone thinks that each room is the best in the nation. Like, we think we're the best receiver room in the nation, but we also know that the running back room is the best in the nation, along with the quarterback room and the tight end room. So, and that's not even to mention the O-line. But we just are all so confident in each other just because of the work we go through. We would love to just be able to run the ball, but unfortunately in football you can't really do that.
Yeah, you mentioned playing for the seniors, the Montana seniors. What is one thing that you're taking from the senior class that you hope you bring into the next few years?
I think, yeah, you mentioned the seniors, but even going beyond that, all alumni. You play for Nolan Askelson, like the people that built the platform that we're standing on today. You don't realize that we're so lucky. Like, they had to go through a lot of work to get us to where we're at. So all the seniors in the past years, you're playing for them, and you just want that chance to make them proud, and that's really about all it comes down to. Yeah,
and a former team that sticks out a lot when thinking about you guys is the '84 team. They came back, they were honored this season. Anything you took from them? I know Ty said he turned to the team and was like, that's going to be us in 39 years when they honored them. Just what did their homecoming mean to you?
It was cool. I mean, I got goosebumps when they got honored at the timeout or whenever it was, but it was just really cool. They all looked so happy, and like they accomplished something that one team accomplishes every year. So to know that that's a possibility, we can't look too far ahead, but we know something special. But that's leading into the 1-0. We have to go 1-0 if we want something special.
Definitely. We'll see if you can go 1-0 one more week. Keep that goose egg out of the loss column. So thanks so much for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Awesome. Stay tuned because Keaton and I will be previewing that Idaho rematch coming up after this.
Welcome back to Bobcat Insider, sponsored by First Interstate Bank.
Welcome back into the Bobcat Insider. Grace Lawrence here at Keaton Galogly. And Keaton, I always love talking to Taco about Idaho because last season he thought Idaho was that turning point when they went to the Kibbe Dome and lost by a very narrow margin. I would argue, some of the people would argue that the Idaho game this year was also a turning point in the positive direction for the team this season, overcoming injuries, their first true test outside of New Mexico, the first conference test.
And they passed it with flying colors. They absolutely dominated that game. The crowd was insane. insane 2,100 plus at Bobcat Stadium. So they passed that test, and we'll see if Montana State can do it again. This Idaho team's going to look different, as we mentioned already. And when we take a look at some of the other key matchups, will Montana State continue to be able to move the football against this Idaho defense?
Definitely. I said a key was also the Montana State defense. They're facing a new quarterback. Playing up to that level is going to be key. What's your key?
My key is that offense. Can Tommy Mellott continue to do playoff things? We can see him elevating his emotion, his level of play. Will he continue to do it this weekend on Friday night for the quarterfinals at 7 p.m. back at Bobcat Stadium? Hopefully we're back next week on the Bobcat Insider.